C-Doc again.
Yes, y'all. It is Tuesday night. Music was very loud. I apologize for that. Hey, how's everybody doing? Knack in the house. It's C-Doc again, Tuesday night. Welcome to Channel Zero YouTube channel. I'm your host, C-Doc. And yes, we're doing it up big tonight, as always. So I'm going to waste no time. Bring one of my co-hosts to the show. A lady that got her start in classic rap radio on the West Side. Throw up the dubs. Yeah, it's in my hand. Bleeding. It's cold out here, y'all. Anyway, messing up her intro. Our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer O. Jenny.
I'll do the dubs for you.
You throw them up, yeah. I put lotion on, but you know, ain't working.
Just made everything greasy and weird, and
that's exactly what it is. And I didn't think it would register, and then I put my hands up. I was like, oh god, that's awful. So, how you doing,
Shit
Jennifer?
happens. I'm hanging in there.
Fantastic.
How about you?
Fantastic. I had a long weekend, so I'm trying to recover. Well, after tonight's show, I'm going to try to recover. It's been a long day, handful of days.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I know the feeling.
Yeah, looking forward to getting some sleep tonight. Because I didn't get much sleep last night. Got home very late. Had to get up very early. Get the kids off to school. Yeah.
I hated school.
I think we all did, right? I mean,
I hated school so much I got out early.
Oh, well, see, that's the way to do it.
I can't take this.
I kind of lucked out because in the middle of my junior year, I moved from Pennsylvania to Ohio. Excuse me. And the credits were a little different. And so I actually had more than enough credits when I moved to Ohio.
Oh, see?
Yeah. So my senior year was cake. I had like 3 study halls and a theater class that I didn't do shit in. And
you did better than I did. I hated school so much.
Yeah.
That right before my senior year, this is how brilliant I am. Right before my senior year, I took the GED and got out.
Wow.
You think I would have,
hey,
thought about it a little and said, look, how many months do you have left?
It's all right. Whatever works.
But my mother was like, you know what? If I don't have to deal with you coming home crying about whatever, do it. Just get out.
Call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Call that shit a day.
And look at what happened.
Yep.
Because of that,
you're on at C-Doc again.
Exactly. I ended up at the radio station, and there we go.
Yep. So it's all good. It's all good.
It all worked out.
It all worked out. Also tonight, real quick, Ultra Mag in the house.
On.
Just a normal dude. What up? Al J in the house. Oh, and just a heads up, tomorrow night, I will be appearing on. Are we doing Instagram Live? Is that what it is?
I think
Live?
so.
Yeah, IG Live with Ultra Mag 7 and our other co-host that is joining us this evening, the president of Rap Station Radio, the head of Hip Hop Gods, ladies and gentlemen, from the Northwest Side, Flatline.
Boom. Bam. I'm here. I made it.
Welcome back. Yes. Yes.
You made it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
To the big time, even.
The big time, indeed.
Because
How you
that's
doing,
what
man?
we are here.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
Ultra
gonna
Man.
be a fun show tonight. I'm gonna try to stay awake.
No, Jake.
You know.
Yeah.
Woo! Anyway. Yes. Oh, so to explain real quick for those that don't know, I was shooting a new film over the long weekend, and I got home very late. Had to get up very early, so I'm running on not much sleep. And yeah. So that's it. But
Alrighty.
I'm not gonna. Okay. There you go. Now you know. All right. I want to get into. We gotta talk before we bring our esteemed guest on that I'm looking forward to talking to. We gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about it.
It's the reason for our fabulous moods.
Yeah. Because I was on set and my cousin John, my partner, looked over at me. Did you hear about Dave from De La Soul? I'm like, what? And we unfortunately lost Trugoy the Dove.
Yeah. Plug 2.
And
Not just plug, like some people. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. Not just plug
Not
2.
just plug 2.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
not
sad.
yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. Man, I did not see that one coming.
No.
Even though I know he had health issues. Yes, Dr. Ama. Yes, thank you. That is true, Ultramag.
Yeah, so out of nowhere and so very sad.
Yeah.
Especially, and I don't mean especially, but I mean it's sad regardless of how you look at it.
Right.
But what was about to blow up.
Right. Which is just kind of crazy in its own right. The timing of it all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very sad.
All of our deepest condolences to his family and friends and De La and
absolutely
the native
rest
tongues.
in
Everybody knew him, Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in beats. Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird that, we grew up on their music. Their music is such a vital part of our lives and our fabric. And then when, and you think these groups are going to be around, the Beastie Boys.
Right.
I think the Beastie Boys are going to be around,
Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Tribe's going to be around?
Yeah.
De La Soul. So.
And the reason for my name.
Yep.
So sad.
Yep. Jennifer Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now that we've made the entire show a suitable downer, yeah.
Kleenex all around.
Kleenex all around. Yes. No, but
absolutely, Al J.
Yeah. Hell yes.
One of the greatest groups ever.
Yeah.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, without question.
Yep. Without question. Yep. So yes, now that we're all sad, let's bring on our guest. And see what he has to say. Anyway, we have a Boston mainstay, Boston legend in the house. Just an incredible lyricist, artist. I think I remember when I first became aware of him with his album Balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also came out as a member of the Perceptionists, which is such a dope group. And I want to, which I actually initially when they dropped their first album, I thought it was just going to be like a one-off thing. And then but then they gave us another album, and I was like, wow, okay, so we're gonna talk about this, all right? Because I love the Perceptionists. Yeah.
By the way, he's nodding his head in agreement with everything you say.
So, I'm sorry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna bring him on because I don't know what to say anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Akrobatik. Woo! Yeah,
yeah.
What's up, y'all? Excuse my crazy lighting. I'm in the lab right now. You know what
No, it's all good.
Yo, it's great to see y'all. We doing it for music. We doing it for Trugoy. Rest in peace to the one and only Dove. I can't even begin to talk about myself or anything else without acknowledging that first.
Yeah,
I mean, for so many reasons, De La Soul is, you know, so important to me, so important to hip hop. And Trugoy himself, to me, is just responsible for, you know, some of the most meaningful things that have ever been said in music. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just, you know, rest in peace to Trugoy, and much love to the whole extended fam, you know, De La Soul and you know, the whole Native Tongues crew and just all of hip hop, because I know that there's very few people in the hip hop world that have not been affected by this. It, you know, came out of nowhere and was just really shocking, terrible, tragic news. I didn't know about Dave's health issues, so it really caught me by surprise. And as you guys might remember, you know, I've had my own health issues over the history, and luckily for me, I've, you know, been able to overcome those things. But man, you know, puts things into perspective, because you know, there's just in terms of, you know, you never know who it's gonna be that gets their number called and who doesn't, and it's just really, it's just a reminder, man. When you guys are talking about all the groups that, you know, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just flip this light right though. But when y'all were talking about all the groups that, you know, we thought we'd always have the Beastie Boys fully intact, A Tribe Called Quest fully intact, De La Soul, and it's just a reminder, man. We really have to give people their flowers while they're here, and you know, just take every day as the blessing that it is.
Yeah.
But that being said, thank you so much for having me on the show, because I'm glad to be here, you know, and I know that, you know, Trugoy and all of the fallen soldiers of hip hop would want us to just continue to keep this thing going, you know what I mean? For as long as we can. And I don't think that that's going to be a problem, because I think that the torch is being passed and carried by so many great artists, you know, all over the country and all over the world at this point, that hip hop's here to stay forever. But you know, it just hurts to lose a legend that meant so much to the you know, whole culture and the art form, and at such a young age. So bless.
Yeah. I think it's weird because you know, for me personally, I grew, you know, growing up on their music, and their music is always there. Their music will still be there, continue to be there.
Oh yeah, of course.
But like when you lose heroes, it's a very weird thing, because you're kind of used to like, oh, there's gonna be new De La. Oh, okay, there's gonna be new, you know. Well, we didn't know there was gonna be a new Tribe album. That was kind of a surprise, but
that was amazing.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's just such a strange, odd thing, because it's, even though we may not know them personally, it becomes so intertwined in our lives. You know?
I mean, we're talking about, in a lot of these cases, people who sometimes their voices, we hear them every day.
Yeah.
You know? I, you know, definitely heard Trugoy's voice, you know, more often than not over the course of my life since I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys, you know, to just give the credit where credit is due, I just have to say, like, you know, I was watching Chuck D's documentary on PBS the other day. And,
yes.
As I said, when I wrote to him, it's required watching for my students and all that. But one of the things that stood out the most about that documentary that I've seen so far was when DMC from Run DMC and LL Cool J both kind of made this acknowledgement that, like, this was, hip hop is like the first time that they saw black men speaking from a position of power, you know, and speaking truth to power in a way that previously we didn't really have that. And De La Soul, I feel like, is in that category, and even in a different way, so much because they had similar goals as like the Public Enemies and the NWAs and the Ghetto Boys. The goals were similar, but the route was different. And
Yes.
their path was so instrumental to me because I was always the guy who was kind of in the minority when it came to the rappers, because a lot of rappers would try to emulate what they saw on TV, and that ultimately led to a whole bunch of guns and a whole bunch of sex and all the music.
Yes.
De La Soul, in the midst of all that exploding, those guys stuck to what they believed in. You know what I mean? And really made music that no one else ever could have made. And
Right.
it's there for us forever. And so, you know, that's inspirational. That's how you continue to live on after you left the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Word.
Yeah.
What was it like coming up you're from Boston originally?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. So what was it like coming up in Boston? What was getting into hip hop? What was it like up there?
I was basically, I feel like I was like the second generation of cats from Boston to really like come out and start getting busy, because we had some people that got some recognition, like the almighty RSO crew, and of course
Right.
Guru, who went from Boston to New York after starting Gangstar Posse. But you know, we had a lot of other crews here, Top Choice Click, you know, there's so many. And then there was this like other wave that came afterwards, and it kind of came around at the same time as the indie hip hop kind of explosion, where like, you know, like when LP started Def Jokes and stuff like that. You
Right.
know, at that time we had you know, not a whole bunch of record labels, but there were a couple that started. You know, there was Brick Records and there was Detonator Records, and at that time, like, it was all about open mics and freestyles and stuff like that. So I would just go out, and whenever there was going to be somebody spinning beats so that MCs could get on, I would just go to those spots. And originally it started with me going with like the older Boston MCs. Sometimes, like, I got on a Greyhound bus with my man Disco P, and we went down to the new music seminar in New York City. I mean, I must have been like 15 or 16 years old. We went out there. I met Kool Keith, and you know what I'm saying? I met Kool Keith and said, "G, just on the street." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And them cats was kind of tight, because they was just like, yo, it shouldn't cost whatever it cost to go into the seminar at that time. It was hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we're all kids, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it was crazy. But I just remember that moment meeting them, man, and that was amazing. So like my kind of entrance into the game really had a lot to do with New York City, because I was doing all the talent shows and stuff in Boston, but because I was so young, I couldn't get into none of the clubs. So I would go to New York City and just like either get into the little spots that would let me in, or just hang out in little different parts of the city where people that I knew were going to be, or the older MCs would kind of bring me around and just be like, yo, this is, you know, the young homie, he got some skills or whatever. And I would just take advantage of those opportunities to just show him what I had. And it really, it just stuck, man, because I eventually met this cat named Pete Bazil. This is my man. Like he's the guy who started Detonator Records. He threw a freestyle event called it was the Newberry Freestyle, because it was at Newberry Sound, which was a recording studio in Boston where we all went to make our demos and stuff. So he had all the MCs come through. It was like, you know, me, Mr. Lift, Esoteric, Virtuoso, Rex, all the names you know now of guys from Boston. We're all like 20 years old in here freestyling. And so at the end of the second one that we did, Pete came up to me. He was like, yo, look, I'm about to start an independent label. I want you to be the MC that I launched the label with. And then that's when we put out my single Rough Enough. And, you know, I made the beat for that. That was like the very first song I ever put out really to the world. And it started to get some momentum on college radio charts. And then Bobbito, I had to say, Bobbito was one of the cats who was like the first cat to have me come out of town and do an official show. You know what I'm saying? So like I got to come out and hang out with Bobbito and his co-host for that show, Stephanie. I don't remember Stephanie's last name, but they were cool as hell, man. They brought me out to NYC and Philly. Shout out to Rich Medina, because he played an instrumental part in that too. You know, so from the beginning, I just have to say, like, the New York City, you know, like that hip hop that we consider the most authentic hip hop scene that there ever was, they embraced me, you know, and that allowed me to come back home with some status. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this kid is getting, you know, props from all these cats out here in New York City, you know, I'm rolling with like the Stronghold crew and Breeze Overflowing and Lifelong and all those cats, Poison Pen, what up? You know what I'm saying? Like all those guys just really have my back and showed me a lot of love. And going back and forth to New York, I would say was like the main thing that really got me that notoriety. Because eventually, you know, I ended up meeting just about everybody, man. I've gotten the opportunity to meet most of my heroes in this game. Is you know, it's humbling.
Yeah. Is that how you made some of the connections for your debut album? You know, because you got Diamond on there, and you know.
Well, you know what? I think. Wait, let me think about that for a second. Because how did I meet Diamond? You know, I don't really remember how I met Diamond because with the Balance album that was on Coup d'Etat Records,
right?
Those guys that put that album out, they had the funding and they had some industry connections, but it was really me just like hitting up all the people that I knew to try to link up with folks. And I'm sure I can't think of who it is now, but you know, one of my boys must have just linked me up with Diamond D. That's the name.
Okay.
You're in the back going crazy if y'all can hear it.
Oh yeah.
It might be my beagles in the kitchen too, so it's all types of stuff going on here.
No, that's all right. That's okay.
But yeah, man, I just like I said, I owe a lot to those cats. But Balance specifically, if you notice, there's only 2 guest MCs, and that's Diamond, because I went to him for a beat, and I can now remember because Metro Concepts was the cats that was managing me. They were also Lift's management at the time.
Okay.
And so they were the ones that hooked me up with Diamond because they had hit me with beats from a few different cats, and I passed on a few of them, which, you know, they still blew up. I'm glad, you know what I mean? But like I passed on like some beats from Walt Liquor. I think what's my man's name from out there in Seattle? The dude who did the John Cena beat. He sent me some heat for that album too that I didn't get to use. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. I'm embarrassed. But y'all know
Flatline, you got it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know who it is.
Oh, okay.
West Coast who did the John Cena beat, and I haven't thought of his name in a couple of years, so it's just on the tip of my tongue. But maybe I'll think of it at another time later in the interview. But regardless, the point was just that like that album deal gave me an opportunity to actually reach out to cats and be like, hey, I got a budget. You know what I'm saying? Like Ill Mind's first beat that he ever put out is on that album, which is
wow.
You know, his first song ever. He still talks about that to this day. So just making that album was a great experience. And I had another label that was, thank you. Yes, sir. There it is. And I had another label that was also trying to get me to sign with them at the same time. And those cats were probably not as professionally set up. I'll just say that. They weren't as professionally set up, but they were offering me more money. And I was like, you know, at the end of the day, this is my chance to make the album that I always wanted to make. So I'm going to go with the people who were set. Jake One. Thank you, Ultraman.
Oh.
Word up.
Jake, yeah.
That's correct. Jake One. Shout out to Jake One. My apologies for forgetting your name, legend. You're a legend out here, man. So you know, that that whole album, like I said, it was just an amazing experience. And I went with the route that I thought was going to get me, you know, the most attention from all the cats that I was trying to get that respect from. Right. Because I mean, that's kind of why I started rapping in the first place. You know, I wanted to one day meet KRS-One and meet Chuck D and have them tell me, yo, you kind of nice, kid. You know, and those exact moments happened for me in my life. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even know. I know it might sound crazy to some people, but like, that's priceless. Like, there's no amount of money I could have made in the music industry that would replace. Like, imagine playing basketball and you never made it to the NBA, but you were in some tournament and LeBron James was there and he comes up to you and he's like, yo, man, you kind of nice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sure, it would be nice to get a big contract from Nike or whatever, but you take that with you to the grave. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so these guys provided that for me. And that's been the most exciting part for me about this come up in hip hop, has just been like literally meeting my heroes and having most of them already know who I am when I meet them. And when I met them, you know what I mean? Like, I met Guru and Premier in Boston and they knew who I was. You know what I mean? My feet didn't touch the ground on the way home that day. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really, really what it's about, man. And just having this opportunity to be out here and making music with so many greats has been amazing. You know, like, and the next album after that, solo anyway, which was with Fat Beats, you know, they really gave me the green light. You know what I'm saying? So I got everybody on that album. So that was another, you know, another.
Yeah, speaking of Guru, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had like another 3 or 4 Illmind beats on it. Chuck's on that album. Talib's on that album. Freddie Fox is on that album. You know what I'm saying? Little brother. Shout out to everybody, man. I love y'all.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Jennifer, you're a jerk.
What she say? What she do? What she over there doing?
We have a running gag. Wait a minute, I gotta pull it up. We have a running gag.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh,
I've got the scorecard.
Yeah.
I've got this. I got the scorecard going.
2-1. I'm not even on the list tonight.
Oh,
Let
okay.
the games begin.
I was about to start saying like, yo, you got to step it up, but it's too.
Got the scorecard going already.
No doubt.
It was a long weekend act. I'm sorry. I'm
Hey,
slacking tonight. Yeah.
I be
No.
down to everybody, by the way, out there too. Y'all too.
I was gonna say. So I guess I jumped ahead there. So the Detonator record situation was singles, right? In the EP.
Detonator Records was singles in the EP. So we dropped a few singles. We dropped the Rough Enough single that had Woman on the B side, and I had a joint to lift where I did like a beatbox track. Well, we were really just getting started, and so I dropped that, and then we eventually dropped the EP. But before we dropped the EP, we got the attention of Eastern Conference Records, which was my man Mighty My.
Mighty My, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are my guys too. And they hooked us up with Raucous to put out Internet MCs as a single, which I can't even believe it sitting here talking to y'all that was 23 years ago. I cannot believe that. Right. It just doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. And so, that got me a lot of nationwide attention. And as the song stated, the internet was starting to become a thing at that time. So word started to get around quick about me and what I was doing. And, from there, it was just a matter of getting the attention of somebody who wanted to put out the album. I ended my relationship with Detonator Records in 2002 after we were done. We did the EP and then we did a Detonator Records compilation album the following year.
Okay.
Which had my man Chan on there, C. Ray's Walls, Breeze Ever Flowing, and myself. And we kind of went out there as a crew and did our thing. We went on tour with like 17-year-old terminology opening up for us, you know what I'm saying? Like just really crazy stuff. I can remember being in like South Carolina and there were like 15 people for some reason on this tour. I don't know how we had so many people there, but we played this big gigantic game of two-hand touch football. And I just remember cats just pushing each other all over the place. I'm like, damn, we got a show. You know what I'm saying? We got roughhousing. I'm like throwing Mike Styles into the dirt. Like my bad, got to rock. But those are some great memories, you know what I'm saying? Just like coming up during that time, the Detonator age. And then when I transitioned out of there, that's when I was just kind of on my own, just kind of floating around, not really knowing what I was gonna do. And then, that's when the guys from Coup d'etat hit me up simultaneously with the guys from the other label I was telling y'all about. And so we just dropped Balance, and from there things started to go really smoothly, I have to say, because from there I really had the opportunity to just travel the world. I went to Iceland and Sweden and just all these different countries where I had no idea I had fans. And when I got there, people are like, Akro, we've been listening to you for like 5 years. I'm like, no way. Wow. It's just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I mean, and again, like I said, that's still 20 years ago in the history of it. Like, I'm from then to now has been pretty amazing too. So I'm very thankful. I have a lot of gratitude for this because, there's a lot of rappers out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of people who would do anything to have some of the experiences that I've been able to have out here with my friends, just on the road, going to places in the world I know I never would have gone to if it weren't for hip hop. Places that people save up for their whole lives in their retirement fund to maybe go for a weekend one time when they retire. I just get to go there and chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't take that for granted. That's not something that, I'm throwing in people's faces like, yeah, I did this and you didn't. It's more like, yo, let me help you because you can do it too. You know what I'm saying? I want to see as many people as possible get that dream made into a reality, especially, I'm partial towards like my Boston heads, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always talking to like the younger artists from Boston and stuff like that. Hassan, I seen you. What's up, brother? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always trying to link up with them, and through my job at UMass Boston, I get to meet a lot of artists that way too. like young artists that just like me were, 19 and 20 trying to figure it out. But like Chuck, I'm lucky because like Chuck D, I had the advantage. I think it's an advantage anyway. Of I was like almost 30 when I dropped my first album. You know what I mean? So like I was coming into it with a certain level of maturity that if I had been 21, I don't know if I would have made it to 30 in my career.
Right.
So I'm glad that things happened the way that they did because it just gave me the opportunity to kind of know what I was getting into and what I wanted to make of myself in the game. Because I had already gone through all of those like youthful kind of, I'm gonna come out here and be the man and everybody's gonna think I'm the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I was already humbled before that, And then when I had the heart surgery, that was even more humbling. So it was just like, yo, I'm just out here just thankful at this point. Like, yo, I'm gonna still make bangers. I'm gonna still, say my ish on the mic. But at the same time, it's like when you meet me, man, you know what I'm saying? It's always just gonna be gratitude. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Especially among the likes of the folks that, I feel like I've finally gotten a seat at the table with.
Yeah. That was a really it was a really interesting time. The underground movement that was fueled by the internet and the information we were able to get music around and stuff like that. Because I tell you what, man, coming out of the shiny suit era, it was looking kind of bleak for a second.
Yeah. Well, I think that what, at least for me, I know, and Lyft for sure, what the difference was that kept us from being completely overshadowed and forgotten during that time was, live performing. We had just established ourselves so deeply at home as live performers and then gotten the chance to tour a little bit that by like 03, 04, the world knew. So when we dropped that album in 05 on Def Jux, it was anticipated. People already knew about our reputation as artists and as a group, and that's always been really important to me. I heard you guys saying when I was backstage that like, it was a surprise that we came back with the second album. I think that if time didn't move as fast as it did, we'd be on album 5 or 6 right now. Cause
right.
That's still my brother, you know what I mean? Like we're always gonna be best friends, I imagine, So as he says on one of his jams, brothers to the conclusion. So shout out to Mr. Lift. That's my man. I spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. And there's more music to come from us. It's just, he just started a new family, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he's got 2 little sons. And so he's, him and Eternia, they're doing their thing out there. And we're busier folks. You know what I mean? But still, it's not like we still share jokes every day, just like any other friends would and stuff like that. And I do think that an opportunity should come about in the next year or two where we'll be able to knock out a handful of songs and put them out there for people because I know people do enjoy when we work together. I definitely enjoy it. I enjoy it probably more than my solo work because it's a collaboration and I just like being part of something bigger than just myself. I'm a team player in every way. And that's another thing that I learned from Chuck D. I mean, he's always been adamant about, move as a team, never move alone. Welcome to the Terror Dome. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about groups, PE, a crew, a group, not singular. We wear black Wranglers, Like it's all about that. Like you rolling through with your crew. And when you do that, that collaborative energy just creates stuff that could not exist without the exact same configuration of people in it. Which is also why it's sad when we lose members of, incredible groups too. But that's why we have to like preserve and celebrate their catalogs.
Yep. Exactly.
So I'm trying to definitely grow my catalog with Lyft as much as possible, over the years and leave behind, a legacy of hopefully one of the great rap groups because we were influenced by all those great rap groups, not just De La Soul and the Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy, because as the 3 greatest, they'll probably always be recognized as the triumvirate, but like Ghetto Boys, EPMD, you know what I'm saying? Like groups like that, where it's just like me and Lyft, to me, like we have more influence from EPMD maybe than anybody because they just had that camaraderie and chemistry that those two had is a lot like me and Lyft. In our live performance, I feel like we owe a lot to that chemistry that they had because we just always admired it so much. And then with DJ Fax One, that was kind of like our DJ Scratch. So we had that going for a while too.
Yeah. Nah, that's an apt comparison. So that makes a lot of sense.
Love those guys, man.
Yeah. Hell yes.
Still too. I mean, EPMD still. I heard Paris Smith on the Crash the Crowd joint with Public Enemies. Crazy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Crazy. Like still, that's the beautiful thing too, I think, about MCing, which eventually showed itself that people didn't maybe think at first, was that you know, this isn't basketball. No one cares how high you can jump. No one cares how fast you can run. If your voice still sounds great, the way it sounded when people first started loving you, you're in a really good position. You know what I mean? You have that's power. You have the power to use your voice that people respect and have known for a long time to put out any message out there that's relevant to the current day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like if Ice Cube right now drops something that is impactful, not only is it impactful, but Ice Cube said it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing about him that sounds much different than he ever sounded. You know, it's still Ice Cube. You just know that voice. And so those, I feel like Liff has a voice like that too. Like as soon as you hear him, it's like, that's Liff. He could be 80 or 18. It's Liff, you know? So that's something that I love about rap just in general, is that it is something that you can do for life, you know, if you're committed to it.
You know, that's I'm glad you said that. That brings up that we always talk about what bullshit it is, the ageism of hip hop, that people say, oh, rap's a young man's game. Says who? Rap is now turning 50 for the first time.
Right.
You know, so
I like to quote KRS-One on that one. 50 years down the line, we can start this because we'll be the old school artists. Even I'll say a rhyme, a brand new style, ruthless and wild, running around, spending money, having fun. Don't forget that part. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the part they try to take from us. Oh, you're old, so you're not having any fun. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You're having fun with the knowledge of what not to do that you already messed up 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's better fun. And you only know that till you get there. So with ageism, what I like to tell my students and I like to tell young people is that, listen, when you're at whatever age you're at, you can only speak from your experience up to that point. You can't speak as a person who has lived longer or experienced more than you at whatever state you're at. So like, you know, when Chuck starts talking, I'm sitting there straight, I'm listening, I'm like, yo, this is the teacher speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not there yet. I can't sit here and say, oh, Chuck's old because he's older than me. No. You know, I tell Chuck all the time, you're who I want to be when I grow up.
Right.
As a constant too, because every year I get a year older, he does too. So I'm always able to look up there for that just knowledge and wisdom. You know what I mean? So I don't think that there's place for ageism in hip hop. And at the same time, I also don't think that it's cool to just dismiss what the young guys are doing and say, oh, it's just trash as soon as we hear it. That's not fair at all, because if y'all heard the music I was making when I was 19, you'd be laughing me out the gym right now. I wouldn't even be on the show. You know what I'm saying? But these guys now and girls, they have the ability to make music at that young age and put it out without anyone else's help and have the world hear it. So we have to remember that we're watching these people as they're growing up. You know what I mean? It just so happens that there is a media monster out there that will take any of them that have something catchy and take it and amplify it and use it for their own, you know, agenda. And so we have to protect our artists in that way too, the young ones. You know, obviously it's up to the parents, but these young adults who are artists, they need help, they need guidance, they need mentorship. And so, you know, I think that the older artists and just older fans too, you know, it's very important, I think, that we don't just dismiss them as trash. Like Common has a song where he addresses that. I don't remember the name of the song, but I just remember the video. He's in like a convenience store and he's like, I think he like stops a robbery from happening. But while he's doing that, he's rapping about all the young rappers and saying like, yo, you know, like you got to give them a chance. Let's see what happens when they grow up. So as long as everybody stays open-minded to each other and they're not telling us that we're washed, and we're not telling them that they're trash, then guess what? We're going to all link together eventually. We're going to meet somewhere, you know, and collab in some way, because there's all types of multi-generational projects and music that can be made and that can be produced that are relevant to everyone. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go to any movie and everyone in the movie is 25. You know what I'm saying? There's people in the movie that are 75. You know what I mean? There's people in the movie that are 15. And so with hip hop, we're kind of doing the same thing. You know, it just took a while because, like you said, 30 years ago, there were no 50-year-old rappers.
Right.
It sounded like I was about to be like 30 years ago. There were no black cops.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
Drive down the block. But
drop it in the song, right?
But you know what I'm talking about. We didn't have that. Now
Exactly.
we can look and see that. So we as hip hop artists, we can have our Ozzy Osbournes. You know what I'm saying? We can have that. Because when you look at the Super Bowl, right? Ozzy Osbourne's chilling, making $1 million for sitting in a commercial for 15 seconds. And now we have Snoop. And now we have Ice Cube, and we have those guys that can fill that role. And I hope that they always get that respect. I hope that when Snoop is 75, he drops a #1 album, just like Ozzy Osbourne did. You know, why not? We have to get past this belief that we are somehow less than or incapable or not worthy of all the same things that everyone else before us has accomplished and are still doing to this day. You know, it's like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, we got a few rappers in there and we have some great hip hop groups in there, sure. But the whole idea of just the legacy of rap and hip hop is evolving because like we just didn't have that much of a history to look back on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna plug the Fight the Power documentary again because it does such a great job of explaining that and illustrating it.
And real quick, not only was the history not there, but also the history has been sorely neglected as far as documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. There thankfully so much of that stuff was preserved so that now we can watch stuff and still see the original footage. But that's another thing about where we are at this moment in time that's so beautiful is that we have the entire history there. Like so many, although we've lost so many greats, so many of the people that were instrumental to starting the story and the beginnings of it are still around. You know what I mean? Like just listening to like Casanova Fly talk about the Bronx in the 70s gives me goosebumps, man, because it's just so amazing to be part of the generation that got to see, you know, I got to see like the tail end of the original 70s hip hop stuff, right?
Right.
Through my mom, I got to hear all that stuff. The Message was bumping in my house. You know, Rapper's Delight was bumping in my house. So my curiosity got piqued immediately. So from that spark, from the very beginning to now, here we are in 2023, and I'm a professor at a university teaching about The Message and, you know, and Rapper's Delight and all the things that were going on in that time. It's surreal, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is surreal, and still out here active, making music and doing shows and stuff like that. Because I don't want anybody to think that I've taken any kind of step back from music or anything like that. If you go on Spotify, you'll find something from me from every year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When did you decide to try to get into teaching, or when did you how did that come about?
That's a good question. Thanks for asking. I mean, it was never my choice. I got lured in. There was a professor at UMass Boston, Professor Rachel Rubin, and she had a class on pop culture, and she did a unit on hip hop. It was like music and pop culture. And she did a unit on hip hop and had me come through as guest, you know, just guest artist, lecturer, whatever. And it went so well that she was like, hey, would you ever consider like co-teaching a semester with me? So I was like, sure, because she's like, I'm going to start this class that's just on hip hop, and I'd love to have your expertise. And, you know, you spoke so well, and with this experience that's kind of unique. And I was with it. And so I did that. The semester went great. We did it again. And then eventually they just gave me the ball and was like, you know, you can do this. And so now next year will be my 10th year at UMass.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's just been amazing because like students who take my class will come back to me years later and let me know how, you know, what they learned from me and in my class has, you know, helped them out in their professions and things like that they're doing. Because I'm not teaching people how to rap. I'm teaching people about the history and the history of the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what that does is it gives people a better understanding of the people that are around them. So if you're a nursing student and you take my hip hop class, but let's say you're from another part of the country where there aren't a lot of Black people, and then you go to work at one of these hospitals in Boston or somewhere in the Northeast where there are a lot of Black people, and you know, you're in a like personal situation where you're talking to somebody and they're scared, you know what I mean? What you learned in that class could help you in terms of just understanding where that person's from and what they might be going through versus being sheltered from it completely forever, having the biggest degree that says you're the smartest person. But then when you get into real practice, you don't know anything about the people. If you don't know anything about the people, what is the point of the degree? There's no point to it. And that, I think, is probably how I ended up teaching, because somebody saw that. They saw Chuck. Word up. But they saw that, you know what I'm saying? They saw that in me, and they let me run with it, and I definitely appreciate that. You got me right there, Chuck. I didn't. Oof. Glad brother. Glad you're here.
Grandmaster Ak.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
That's an official title now. That's an official title.
There you go. Yep.
Put that on my Instagram page.
Yeah. By all means. Yeah, wow. So I didn't realize it'd been 10 years you've been teaching already. That's fantastic.
I just did a talk at UConn the other day, and there's some preliminary talks about maybe me teaching there too. So I think that it's something that is going to expand. You know, I don't think it's just like 10 years is a long time to do anything, right? So I think that I've proven that it's something that I'm made for, and it really completes my experience as a hip hop artist too. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I'll be like on stage, and I'll do like a live stream and let, like, I'll be backstage and do a live stream and let my students just chat with me for a few minutes, and we'll just talk about what I'm doing at the time. And, you know, they just stay connected beyond the class time. And a lot of the students are artists and show me their music. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Frosty. What up, Frosty? And what up, Sebi Sab? You know what I'm saying? Just in case they watching these, I have students, current students who are artists. You know what I mean? And I hear their music, especially that kid, Sebi Sab. When I first listened to his music, I felt like I was listening to De La Soul.
Wow.
You know? And I told him that like 2 weeks ago, you know, before any of what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got that vibe, and I told him, I was like, yo, keep doing what you're doing, because your lack of fear to be yourself and be who you are is what's going to make you great. You know, the fact that at 18 years old, this kid is doing that already. You know, he's also a jazz drummer. You know what I'm saying? He's doing all types of stuff, college student. So he gets it. You know, he I think his family is from DR. So, you know, you have people that come here from all over the world and see what type of opportunities we have set up, and they just jump right at it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are not indoctrinated with all the social media stuff just from jump. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to eventually see it. But I think sometimes people from other countries can come here and have a clearer path in terms of art, because they don't have all the commercial mainstream influences that are telling them that they got to dress like this, they got to talk about that, they got to, you know, consider these people that and these people this, and they just come out and do their thing. And so this kid Sebi Sab is somebody who I think is great in that regard.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I was going to say something about that. What was I going to say? Oh no, about you're right about the influence and the need for people, not all people obviously, but for some people to, you know, feel. It's funny that hip hop used to be like, okay, you got to come with your own style, and now there's so many artists that feel like, oh well, no, it's got to be this, it's got to fit this mold.
Well, I think that has to do with the reasoning, right? Like my hoodie says, do it for music. Shout out to my man Pause One. I got this hoodie from him when I was on tour to Mountain Cali a few years ago. But you know, you can look at it from different perspectives, but at the end of the day, a lot of people choose to try to make music because they think that it's a path to fame and fortune.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if why you're doing something is as a path to fame, you know, if the reason is that it's a path to fame and fortune to you, as soon as you feel like it's not, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as you feel like it's not, you're done. But if you're just doing it just based out of passion, you know, passion for the art, you know, you're going to make music without necessarily even caring what anybody thinks about it. As long as someone tells you it's dope. You know what I mean? Like when I listen to MF Doom's music, rest in peace to him too. But like when I listen to MF Doom, I don't sit there thinking, man, he must have really thought a lot about what people were going to think about this when he made it. He didn't give a damn. He's like, this is dope. I'm dope. I'm doing something that no one else is doing. Watch this. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that inspires me. I never really just wanted to be a famous person. In fact, I would say my ultimate goal is to just be as successful as possible while being as unfamous as possible. You know what I mean? Just under the radar, just enough so that I can just hang out and just go wherever I want and do whatever I want. And it's all good. Nobody's mad at me because of how good I'm doing. But my work is well known enough so that it always keeps me busy and I always get opportunities to build with folks and things like that.
Yeah. Do you remember what the first rap record you heard was?
Yep. It's called I Gotta Pee. I'll be back in 45 seconds.
Okay. That was one of the best transitions I think we've ever had on the show.
that
Yep.
was right up there with Joe Fatal.
Yeah. That was top notch.
Funny as hell.
Only here on It's C-Doc again. Well,
Right.
we're going to take this moment. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we're going to take this moment to let everybody know that It's C-Doc again is brought to you by the Spit Slam Record Label Group.
Let 'em know.
The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound. And it's funny, every time I show that commercial, I think, man, I got to update that. And yet
Do you know,
I continually don't update it.
I was today years old when somebody asked me when I started at the radio station, and it was 40 years ago.
No shit.
Wow.
Wow, Jennifer.
Wow.
Like the end of this year, it will have been 40 years.
Whew.
That's
All right.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
crazy.
What's been going
Tell
on
me
for
about it.
years? What's 40
Well,
years?
Oh, 40 years ago, Jennifer started working at K-Day.
Oh,
Mhm.
awesome. Wow.
Yep.
Legend in our own right over here.
That's right.
40 years ago.
And
Whoa.
speaking of legends, I want to bring a legend to the house. Ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, Mr. Chuck D.
Oh, is that right?
Woo!
Man.
Hold on. Stay right there. I'm just going to get my plug so that my device doesn't fizzle out on us. This is crazy.
All right.
What up, Chuck? This is crazy.
He's just got.
How you doing, Maestro?
Oh,
You're it must be in the car.
Absolutely unbelievable, man. I'm just I'm down to like 5% on this device, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm good on time. We're good.
Okay.
Peace,
Okay.
y'all. What's up, Chuck? Yo, where you at, man?
Oh, we can't hear you, Mr.
Muted.
Chuck. I think he's in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You muted, Chuck.
We can't hear you. Yeah, I think he's trying to get it.
Okay, you working on it.
Yeah.
It might just be the mute button though.
No?
No?
He's not muted on here.
Oh.
Sometimes when he's in the car though, like he
Yeah.
calls me and like he's like, yeah, can you hear me, Doc? And I can hear him and he can't hear me. And so
Right.
like
It's
the phone picks up in the
The
car.
blessing, you know what I'm saying? Big brother Chuck, man, it's always an honor, bro. The fact that you took the time to even check in to say what's up, man, it means everything to me. Wow.
Well, we'll
You had asked me a question about the first rap.
yeah,
record?
the first rap record you heard that you were like, oh, snap, like really blew your mind.
Well, I definitely think it was the message. You know, it would
Okay.
be hard for me to overlook, to just jump past that one. Like maybe I was so young that I didn't quite understand what I was listening to. You know what I mean? But like it just stuck with me. You know, that don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I was singing that everywhere I went. You know what I mean? At like 6, 7 years old or something like that. So that I think that record just it did for me what it did for a lot of MCs or soon to become MCs, which was give us that reality rap. Like
Yeah.
when you hear that, like I just said this to my class the other day, when you hear broken glass everywhere, it's like, oh, I can relate to that. I see that.
Mhm.
You can smell the urine in the subway. And like I'm from Boston, but like a lot of my family is from Brooklyn and Harlem. So I spent a lot of time in New York growing up. So I was there in the high rises in Harlem, the projects with, you know, the incinerator chutes where you're dropping your trash into the fire pit and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understood what Melly Mel was talking about on that record. So that was really one of the first ones. And then I think one of the first MCs that made me actually want to rap had to be Kumo D. I heard something that he did, and I swear I listened to it like 50 times and just kept copying it and just trying to get his flow down.
Yeah.
Then LL Cool J came out, and it was over. I was like, okay, this is definitely what I'm going to do with my life. And I wanted to be LL Cool J for a little while. And then KRS came through, and I heard The Bridge Is Over. And now I'm hearing the Caribbean influence and the lyrics and stuff like that. My family's from Barbados. So step by step, I'm just getting hyper and hyper and hyper. And then, of course, once PE dropped, forget it. Like, yo, they literally have, in this school I went to, the prep school called Roxbury Latin, this private school that I went to, they had an article in the school newspaper about me because the kid who wrote for the school newspaper came up to me. He's like, hey, you know, I want to write an article about you and your fashion statement. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you wearing these clocks around your neck to school every day. We want to know what that's about. So there's an article in the school newspaper from like 1988 or 89 or something like that. And it's like, Bridgman, that's my last name, Bridgman Clocks, a fashion statement. And I'm talking about how, yeah, this is my favorite rap group. This is what they rock. This lets you know that we know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? 15 years old, and it was crazy, man. So the influences of these cats, you know, and you know, I have to just say, like, with the absence of a man in the home, to hear people like Chuck and KRS and Rakim and De La and all these guys saying the things that they were saying, that was about as good as a replacement as you could ask for. And keeping in mind that these guys are all in their 20s talking this stuff, you know. We talk about what rap is now, and you got guys in their 30s and 40s still talking about bang, bang, shoot them up, and we're drug dealers. I personally think that that's kind of clownish because we've been around long enough to know that that's not what we want to pass on to the next generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're going to do it anyway because there might be some money attached to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, you know, that's always going to be an area where there's some conflict within hip hop, but you know, we're going to take care of our own house though. You know what I'm saying? We'll make it work. And I think we've been making it work because as long as there is some kind of a balance, which is what my first album was about, as long as you do have some kind of a balance, then everyone has an opportunity to go find what they want. You know, so if you like Megan Thee Stallion, you should be able to. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But you can also like other stuff, you know what I mean? And you don't have to be put in that box. Nobody has to get put in a box that says you can only rap like this, you can only talk about this, and you can only listen to this. That goes against everything that hip hop is about. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear Can't Trust It back to back with the Humpty Dance, back to back with Electric Relaxation, back to back with Jump Around by House of Pain.
Yes.
And love all of it. And everyone that's in every video, because peace, love, unity, and having fun, that's what hip hop exists for. That's what we're doing. You know, and that's to me, that's the mantra. That's always been the mantra for hip hop. All the other stuff that the hip hop gets blamed for, guns, you know, sexual promiscuity, it's hypersexuality, it's misogynist. Look, hip hop didn't create any of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All those things were in America before hip hop ever had a name, before the first rap music was ever made. If the conditions around the artists change, the art of the artists will change too. So the people who are in power and the people who actually have the means and the resources to make that change, they could do it. They could do it. But then that would show results that go against their narrative that the place is only the reason. The only reason the place is the way it is because of who's there. And that's not true. I challenge that. I'll challenge that forever.
Yes. Mr. Chuck, do we have you now, sir?
I think you have me now. I think you hear me, yo. Grandmaster Act. I'm here for a couple of minutes. I'm on the other side. I usually catch the replay gang, but everything you've done, everything you've spoken about. I mean, you were the prototype of the 21st century of a cat that bleeds hip hop, rap music, man, and it's part of our and also my obligation and honor and job to do whatever I can do to keep propelling you. I owe you that verse on one of your projects, you know that. And
you don't owe me nothing, Chuck. You couldn't.
You know, but you know how we do. You know how we go. And quite profound.
We're gonna do
as I was driving, and catching the show. I usually catch the show later because I'm on 3 hours difference right now. But yeah, man, like quite profound what you said also about Dave and our guy, man. You know, so that right there is the epitome of the seeds that you've been planting. That epitomizes a lot of those MCs, DJs, hip hop artists, and activists and raptivists that don't show no fear. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
The whole key is having no fear. And if you've been that cat right throughout, man.
Yo, thank you so much for saying that, Chuck. I have a record called "Don't Fear" from early in my career. It's called "No Fear" from early in my career too, man. Like that is an important thing. We can't be afraid of what might happen. You know what I'm saying? As a result of
Right.
us standing up for ourselves and our culture and all of that, man. We can't. We just have to just keep going. And a big part of the reason that we do it is because of those brothers that you named on Rest in Beats, and brothers like Dave, and brothers like Fife Dog, and brothers like DMX. You know what I'm saying? Like all the cats that have come here and just shared their expression, really literally poured their heart and soul out into their art for us. I mean, you know, we got to keep the legacy going, man. No question.
Yeah, but hey, man, like I said, and Flatline and Doc and Jenny, you know, I mean, for 14 years now, we've been doing the And You Don't Stop radio show on Rap Station. And now we finally are finding our footing to go into the stratosphere. And all we do is pay homage and provide service. So every time I see one of your joints come down the roaster, I'm like, oh, they go Ack again. So we've been on everything that you've done, man. And Flatline is right there to tell you, and Doc right there to tell you that every time a joint of yours comes down the roaster, it's like I'm first to screaming at the top of the list in honor and play it. So thank you.
There is absolutely no more motivation, nothing more motivational I could think of right now than to hear that from you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And let me tell you, it serves us to serve you.
Yeah.
That's the whole beauty of it. It serves us to serve you. Well, we get joints from, you know, like the Black Medine and yourself up there in the Boss area, and all over the world. It serves us to serve you because we get super joy out of it, and that's what drives us.
And I can't even like quantify how much it does for my fans to hear that from you too. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people that have supported me for decades, you know, and so to hear the voice of power himself, the person that I'm always telling them is my hero, say that about me. I mean, I don't even know what else to say.
Well, thanks. I'm going to sign off right now because I don't want to get in trouble. But I stepped out in the middle of a dinner, and you know, so we're all good. Peace out to everybody. I'm gonna catch the show later on, and salute to you, Ack. And yeah, yo, man, we connected, man. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, I've been on that side of it too, man. So I understand how it can be with the tech, but wow, man, Flatline, I know you know how I feel right now.
Oh, I know. I already know.
Deep breath, Ack. It's okay.
Yeah,
Peace out, Mr. Chuck.
I'm not the easiest cat to knock off balance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I'm just like, man, that was a moment right there. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to come through, but I put the word out earlier and said, "Hey, swing by if you can."
Man.
Yeah, I hit him up too. I was like, I know Ack could appreciate it if you were able to come through. So he came through. Yeah.
Like I would struggle to remember a part of my life where his voice wasn't telling me something that was very important that I could apply to my life.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his work in my classroom is, you know, paramount. Tantamount. You know, like we watched the documentary, we you know, the Can't Trust It video I consider to be the greatest hip hop video ever made. And we show that video in class and we talk about it, and it just opens up so much discussion about just, you know, history of Black people in America, and that, you know, hip hop is really the realest and most authentic way that we can get that realism and that history and those facts out to people so that they can be digested in a way that is palatable. Because you see what the politicians do, they get mad, they want to burn your books, you know what I'm saying? They want to ban history, but one thing they can't do is stop the facts from getting through, because we have a method, we have a way to get it done. And like when I'm in that classroom, I feel so empowered because none of my students are looking at me like I'm just some dude off the street who raps. You know, I ask them to call me Ak, but they, you know, a lot of them are just like, you know, professor. And it's like, they understand that the information that I'm giving them is not readily available everywhere. And so that taking that particular class is like getting a key to a lock that most people will never touch. You know, so when you're learning through the visuals in the Can't Trust It video, and there's the scene at the end where, you know, the man whose wife was pregnant, he finds out that the baby was actually the slave master's baby. That moment, it's just like your heart just sinks. You know, he's not even talking about that in the song, but you see it, and it's like, man. And then that opens up a discussion about slavery in America and about Black history. And you just start to realize, man, that like this history, hip hop history is Black history is American history.
Yep.
You know, and we're all together in this. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that is going to come up that we're going to talk about is uncomfortable, but we can't get to a point where we are comfortable without facing the uncomfortable parts first. And I think that that's what PE brought to the game that, you know, was really eye-opening, because it wasn't just, oh, things are bad, they're going to be better. Things are bad, you know, this sucks, but life's going to be good because, I don't know, whatever people would say, you know, Jesus is going to take care of us in the afterlife, or we shall overcome, or one day everybody's going to be okay. Chuck was like, nah, if we want this, we got to fight the power.
Yeah.
Because power ain't going to give up shit. I don't know if I can curse. I'm sorry. Power ain't going to give up
go ahead.
anything. Okay. Power concedes nothing without demands. Who has power? Who has power or control that is just sitting there and nobody's asking them for anything, and they're just like, hey, you know what I'll do today? I'll distribute some of this power and control.
Right.
Just because I'm that kind of guy. That's what I'd like to do. That doesn't happen.
No.
It only happens when people show up like, yo, you're not going to keep treating us like this.
Yeah.
And PE made us understand that we had that power to do that collectively. You know, the Fight the Power video, that was so powerful to me, with everybody holding the signs of where their delegation was from and stuff like that. I used to just want to be part of the Boston delegation. You know, like I was too young at the time to be in that video, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to go to New York and be there. You know, but now I feel like I am there because I'm part of it. I'm contributing in my way through, not just through teaching, but also through just, you know, making music that people find value in, you know, because I was telling my students the other day, like, yo, and I heard this from Chuck years ago, like, I picked up the philosophy of it. Like, when I make music, I'm not thinking about whether or not 18 or 19-year-olds are going to like it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about just making the music that I think needs to be made. I don't care what happens the first week after I put it out. Yeah. So I tell my students, if you don't listen to my music, it doesn't matter. You don't have to listen to my music just because I'm your teacher. When you hit the time in your life that you're looking for what I give to hip hop out of hip hop, you'll find my music and you can enjoy it then. It doesn't matter how old I am then or what I'm doing or even it's still here. Because you know what? Tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, all month February, all month long, and probably all spring long, young people are going to be discovering De La Soul for the first time.
Yep.
Because all that music is about to come out. Those guys fought for 30 years so that music could be heard now. You know, so I think that they have an opportunity to re-revolutionize hip-hop production and just people's mind states. Like, I know people wanted to criticize the Daisy Age and say that it was soft because they weren't coming out with the gangster stuff, but it's like they made music that made you feel like it was okay not to always have to put up that tough facade, right? Yeah. Like when Trugoy said, it seems smiling in public is against the law because love don't get you through life no more. It's who you know and how you son and how you getting in and who the man holding the heat and how's the skins and how high. You know, he was saying, we are losing our focus here. You know, yep. Another verse, he's like, I'm sick of shaking that. Sick about talking about blunt, sick of Versace glasses, sick of slang, sick of half-ass award shows, sick of name brand clothes, sick of R&B just over bullshit tracks. cocaine and crack that brings sickness to black, sick or swole head rappers with their sickening raps, clapping gats to make the whole sick world collapse. Rest in peace to Trugoy.
Yeah.
That's somebody saying something 25 or 30 years ago that without even hearing it, I'm just like, boom. Why? Because that's what I chose to indoctrinate myself with.
Yep.
You know, and I do think that there is a chance for younger folks to get that opportunity again, not just through De La Soul, through other artists that are out now that are doing it. I'm sure that Kendrick Lamar has been that for a lot of people. I'm sure that J. Cole has been that for a lot of people. I'm sure that, you know, artists like No Name, Little Sims have been that for a lot of people. There's a great new core of younger artists that are out there doing their thing too. And from what I can tell, the respect between the generations is pretty much mutual too. Little Sims has a line I love though, where she says, I'm Jay-Z on a bad day, Shakespeare on my worst day. That's the bar right there. You know what I'm saying? Just reminding people that, yo, hip hop is, in my opinion, the greatest thing that's ever happened to the English language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, when in poetry, what was William Shakespeare doing with the English language that Big Pun didn't run circles around 10 times before he turned 25 and left us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, we have to recognize our value, recognize our worth, and then try to get to some level of, yo, we're all friends here. You know what I'm saying? We're all on the same team. This is not about just trying to overcome each other and me getting rich while you stay broke and, you know, trolling you about it afterwards, or all the toxic things that we see. Again, hip hop did not create those things. The platforms are all available for that. You know what I'm saying? If you wanna go and argue with teenagers that will make you feel terrible about yourself, just go to Twitter or go in the comment section of any Instagram post. You know what I'm saying? You could do that, but you know, you don't have to. You could also, you know, be a teacher, and then that can be the way that you end up talking to people of that age on that platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can talk about hip hop in an academic, scholarly environment, and then it doesn't matter anything, nothing else matters other than just the information that we're here in the room. So I'm just trying to continue to contribute on the levels where it makes sense to me. I go where the love is. If I sense that there's no love, I'm out. And it's that simple. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I've already, and I mean, I don't want to be too like hyperbolic, but like, I feel like I've already achieved everything in my life that I want to. And so because of that, I'm in give back mode for the rest of my life. You know, not only have I been able to like travel to all these places, put music out, meet my heroes, become friends with them, you know, but I was also given a second chance at life when, you know, I don't know for sure that I even deserved it, man. The way I was treating myself, the way I let my blood pressure get out of control, and where I ended up, you know, that was all my own doing. And, you know, so to have that like hand come through and say, no. We need you here for some more shit. You know, it's certainly not going to be some self-aggrandizing crap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's going to be, how many people can I help get to that place of gratitude when they think about hip hop, so that when they take part in hip hop, it's coming from that place. It's coming from love. They don't just necessarily see hip hop as a way to, you know, make threats to their enemies and things. Because you can do that without making a song. You want to make threats to your enemies, text them. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to hear that necessarily on a record like that. You know, so if it's a rap beef, yeah, that's fine. It's funny. I had a good time listening to Eminem rip apart Machine Gun Kelly. You know what I mean? But I know they're not going to really hurt each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I, you know, on a street level though, I'm hearing music that's basically just made by gangs, and the music is like the mode of communication that the gangs are using. And so that, while I suppose can be creative, a good song is a good song, is dangerous, and it's putting too many innocent young people in the line of fire. I don't like that part. And if I had access to those guys, maybe that would be what I would try to talk to them about. But like I said, I go where the love is. You know what I mean? And then I plant my seeds that way. And then, you know, maybe the people that learn from me in a classroom or build with me or whatever, they'll go back to their cousins and their friends and talk to them a little bit, you know, and they might just have that one little gem that they could drop in the middle of a conversation or an argument that makes the person go, oh, word, I see what you're saying. And then, you know, they can be like, yeah, I learned that from Akrobatik.
Right?
Sounds good. My device is on 1%. I'm so scared that y'all are gonna.
Oh shit.
It's plugged in, but it's just staying on 1%. I
Okay.
think we're okay. But if I
Okay.
disappear, that's what happened, and I'll just try to pop right back in.
Not a problem. Not a
Cool.
problem. I wanted to ask you about the, you know, when you guys did the Perceptionist record and the first one.
Mhm.
Oh, that one?
Yes, that one. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Flash.
yeah.
Go ahead, tally that, Jen.
Yeah, tally it up.
Yeah.
I'm slacking on my job here.
Was it 3-1?
Yeah, 3-1. And because I'm always curious about hearing about artist time at certain labels, especially the indie labels. So what was the Def Jux time like?
Okay, so the Def Jux time, first of all, was phenomenal. I mean, I never got so close to just feeling like I was an actual rap star than when I was on Jux, you know, like actual tour buses on the tour. You know what I mean? Like literally like me and Liff winning the Super Bowl, playing Madden in the back of the tour bus. You know what I'm saying? Like just having a great time, and just all the people, you know, Aesop Rock, Murs. I met Shock G while on tour with Def Jux. You know what I'm saying? Just like really incredible moments. Rest in peace to my brother Kamutel.
Yeah.
Like just so many good people. And then the label experience. I mean, look, LP is a legend, first of all. We know that. Incredible producer. The thing about LP, though, is that L is a boss. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he doesn't have any problem saying something that might hurt your feelings. L hurt my feelings a couple of times because there were some things that I thought about myself that weren't true. And without saying it directly to me, he let me know. And that kind of had me like, oh, damn, you know, like, there's another level to this music industry stuff that I didn't really quite understand. And he helped teach me some of that stuff without, I don't even know if that's what he was trying to do. If so, he's just a super genius. He's already a genius. But, you know, he was like the main figurehead at the label that we would deal with. And because him and Liff were such good friends already, when they brought in me and Fax, things just went pretty smoothly. You know what I mean? And I think that looking back, maybe the label wasn't 1,000% happy with the sales of the record, but I would put part of that towards the fact that they had us go shoot a video in a blizzard and the director bailed because it was snowing too hard, and then we never did a video for any songs on the album. So it was get the word out there completely to you know, sell it like it would. But let me tell you something, that album, if it sold those numbers today, we'd be commercial artists.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We would be on Saturday Night Live or something like that. So depending on the era of when you drop something, when it comes out, and what the climate is, where we're at in society and culture, you know, the numbers, Jay-Z said numbers lie, but I mean, numbers don't lie, but you know, like sometimes they can, because sometimes a couple million people have to buy something before we realize it's bad.
Yeah.
Or something else comes along, you know what I'm saying, that makes us go, oh, that wasn't so great. These guys did it better. You know, so having that like cult following, I think, is huge. And Def Jux gave us that. Definitely gave me that. I mean, like coming off of Def Jux run with the Black Dialogue album with Liff and Fax, and then going into my solo album with Fat Beats, that was the pinnacle of my career right there as far as the music industry goes. You know what I mean? Like, we'll always look at things differently in terms of like what scope or spectrum are we looking at it from. Like from a music industry standpoint, people might say, oh, well, my height of my career was like 06, 07, 08, you know, from 05 to 08. But from the standpoint of like just activity and what I'm doing, man, I've been on so many tours since then, put out albums and been around, but the climate is different. So now there's way more artists. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a video. Everyone's on YouTube all the time and on social media all the time talking about what they're doing. It's hard for me even to keep up with new artists, or even just artists that I have always liked that put out new stuff. I'm months behind. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still just digging into the new Nas album, which is incredible, but I'm still just digging into it because I have so much to do. I got papers to grade. We got lives to live. You know, so I understand that part of it. But I would just say that, like, since I became a teacher, I've been enjoying my career on another level. and it's just been rewarding in different ways because I've still been able to go on tours and put out albums and stuff like that. But to be grounded in that way where I'm just like with young people who are so excited about this. You know what I'm saying? Like I walk past a kid.
Shit. That 1%.
I was gonna say there went the 1%.
The 1%.
Okay.
Motherfucker. Yep.
How am I doing?
Oh, Chuck D for the win. Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Eaten by the rhyme animal again.
It was about 3-2.
Best of us all.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm accepting of this.
Hopefully Ack will come back because I wanted to hear about that kid that he had mentioned. So
Well, he said if he got kicked off, he would come right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right. So Flatline's gonna step out. So right now I'm going to take this time to mention that you can also catch me Friday nights on the And You Don't Stop radio show.
Yep.
That is also produced by Flatline here, featuring Mr. Chuck D, and I play the Spit Slam Jam of the Week, which is music released by the Spit Slam record label group. And this week's Spit Slam Jam of the Week is DJ Emrock's Just Press Rewind Back to 88 from the Revenge of the DJ album. We will play just a bit of that right now. Comes in with a bang, with the thunder. Yeah.
What we're gonna do right here is go back. Way back. Back into time. When you come to mind, must be why if I haven't blown your mind. When you come to mind, must be why if I haven't blown your mind.
Emrock treating his turntables like the dirty bitches they are. So,
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That
was coming in hot.
I figured I'd get your attention with that one. Anyway, that's this week's Spit Slam Jam of the Week. Check out all the music released by the Spit Slam record label group on your streaming platform of choice, or you can go to spitslamrecords.com and grab a CD, which I actually finally got. I wasn't ready for this. I got my CD and finally, yes.
Damn.
I got my copy.
That's
Oh, there
Ultra
it
Mag.
is. Perceptionist. Ultra Mag.
Oh.
Wants another point.
He wants another point. Okay. He wants to tie it up. Yeah, but do you have Revenge of the DJ, Ultra Mag? Huh? Huh? Do ya?
See, here he comes. He's coming back.
Do you, Ultra Mag? No, anyway. But anyway, yes, that's Revenge of the
Okay,
DJ.
we've got to give Ultra Mag another point.
Yeah. 10 great. And we'll take it back to Acro. That was okay, man, because we used that brief interlude to tell everybody about the Spit Slam Jam of the Week, which is one of our segments.
Oh,
And,
dope. All right.
Yeah, it was all good.
Appreciate that, yeah. My bad about that, though.
No, that's okay. You were saying, you mentioned a kid. You were walking by a kid the other day, and
Oh, yeah. A kid. First of all, they're all adults on campus. I don't like to call them kids. I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
But, for me, they're kids. But either way, one of my students was saying that, like, her uncle, was a big fan of mine and was telling her, oh, you're taking a class that's being taught by a legend or whatever. And I was just, like, so taken aback by it because, like I said, I've been there for almost 10 years. And now, it's like, 10 years older than I was when I started. So, like, now students are talking to me about, like, their parents and their uncles listening to my music or have been listening to me for a long time. And it's like, oh, man, but I still I love it. There's no way. What else? Because what else is there? Would it be? What else would I have done if I didn't do that? I wouldn't want to be known for not doing anything. Oh, there's this guy that dropped some records in '98, then he just stopped doing stuff. Nah.
Right. Right. Yep.
Let's just keep it going, man.
Yeah. Our resident digital underground expert Knackwurst would love to hear about career finders.
Career finders.
Oh. Yeah. So remember when I was talking about that tour with Def Jux?
Yeah.
Shock G was on that tour. He was doing the musical stage production for Merz's set, which was amazing. He'd come out and he'd play piano and stuff. Like it was just so dope being on tour with him. I learned so much from him. He talked about his early days with Tupac and bringing Tupac into the game, and just another story. I'll get to the song, but another story from that tour was we stopped in some city. I feel like it was somewhere down south, and there was a karaoke bar, and they were doing the Humpty Dance in the karaoke bar. And Shock G got off the tour bus and went up into the karaoke bar and jumped up on stage with these two ladies and did the Humpty Dance. And no one realized it was him until towards the end. And it was just an unbelievable moment, But it was like way before everybody had their cell phone out recording everything. Sure. So I don't have any documentation.
Oh, wow.
It just goes to show you like what type of person he was, And first of all, let me just say this. We did Career Finders, but Career Finders was actually going to be another song. And the reason it didn't end up being the other song was only because the beat for Career Finders was so up-tempo. And we were like, oh, okay, that other topic is a little bit too serious for this. We need to do something that's more fun. And so that's how we ended up doing Career Finders. We're just like, because Shock, at that time, like, I was really hard-headed, man. Like, if I thought you were whack, if I thought somebody was whack, I didn't hold back. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I didn't think Shock was whack. But
right.
If Shock heard me say that I thought someone was whack, like, first of all, I was late to the Outkast party.
Oh, I was too. Yeah. Full disclosure.
It was very stupid of me. Outkast and Wu-Tang, I was late, but I'm here forever.
Yeah,
from now.
Me too.
So I remember saying, "Oh, I think Outkast is the most overrated group in rap." And Shock heard me, and he sat me down. He's like, "Yo, Ak." He was like, "It doesn't matter if Outkast is overrated." He's like, "The people that love them, love them. The people that love you, love you." He was like, "You can be whoever you want without knocking the next man down. You never have to do it." And so and I've never told this story, when we were on our way to the studio, we were gonna do this song, and Shock was coming up with the hook, and he was like, "Yo, we'll use our names." He was like, "I could shock myself without knocking the next man, act myself without knocking the next man, lift myself without knocking the next man, and bring facts without knocking." You know what I'm saying? Like he had this idea of this song. We just didn't have the beat for it at the time. But like, that's definitely just like a lesson I straight up learned from him. You know what I mean? You don't have to be this cocky dude with a chip on your shoulder that you let everyone know this rapper isn't as good as you and you think it. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. And so when we did Career Finders, it was like, Ak, I'm going to show you how you can address these whack rappers without having to go deep into your like anger about it. You don't have to be mad. We can have fun with them. You know what I'm saying? We can make them the subject of the song and make the song funny. Yeah. And so we did that, you know what I mean? And I love how it ended up being, you know what I mean? I love that song because it's just an opportunity for us to just have fun on a record with, just one of the greatest people ever in hip hop. No question. Looking back, I can't believe how young he was when he passed away and how young we all were then, because at that time, Shock was, I remember him saying how old he was and me being like, damn, Shock's getting up there. That's nothing. He was 41 at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And at that time though, but he was 41. He had some grays and we had known him for being great for so long, doing all the Humpty Hump stuff and all the great Sex Packets album. But in that era, it was just like we were still in that mind state of we thought we were the old ones because there ain't really that many rappers over 30 out here. So, we were kind of as the ones who were just hitting our 30s, like, oh yeah, we got to do this now because 10 years from now, ain't nobody going to be checking for us. Little did I know, you know what I mean? It would be 12 years before we did another album and people were definitely checking for it. So, You know what I'm saying? So it was all good. Yeah, you can't give up on yourself or count yourself out, because the vast majority of the time, no one is thinking what you're thinking about yourself, about you. And so you just have to, find it in yourself to. It's cliche, but you just have to believe in yourself if you really think you have it. You know, you can be honest with yourself. I think that's a good thing too, because there are some people that might have saved themselves some time had they been a little more honest with themselves about their skills or lack thereof. But the people who have those skills, I think that it comes down to just how much you believe in yourself. And you know, we have a great MC in Boston who is named Dutch Rebel. She's on one of my albums, one of my solo albums. What up, Dutch? She visited my class one time, and at the end of that class, a student came up to her.
It's on that
like
album.
misty-eyed. What happened?
I'm getting another point. It's on this album.
Oh, it is on that album, on the Built to Last album. That's right. The track "Let's Keep It Going," produced by my brother Slop Funk Dust, no doubt. My man, you got all the facts over there. But so the student came up to her like misty-eyed and just said to her like, "Hey, I just want to thank you for gambling on yourself, for betting on yourself," I think she said. You know, and it just like, you could just see that Dutch was just like frozen by that, like, oh, you know, who would think that they would get thanked for that? But basically the student was saying, you know, like, you've inspired me to take that chance on myself and what I'm doing, even though she's not doing the same thing. And see, that's what it comes down to, man, is that like, we're all just people. And, you know, we find that thing that we love to do and we put our passion towards it. But then the people we come across, like the nursing students I was talking about, it's not always going to be people from the same walk of life that you affect or that learn stuff from you that they can apply to what they're doing too. You know, so it doesn't have to be just hip hop and only rappers that we can work with and help out. You know, we're all here. And I feel like, you know, as an artist, as an MC, as a teacher, there's tons of people that I can and do learn from every day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, fantastic. Flatline, you have a question, sir?
Well, I want another point. Can I have another point?
Oh my God.
What's this point for? Oh, the flip open balance?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a promo poster?
It is.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Yep. I remember that.
Yep.
Evil D made a dope like mixtape.
I have that somewhere. I couldn't find it, but I still have it.
You are on it, brother.
Yeah,
you got
in the cardboard envelope.
You must have so many like boxes in your crib of just stuff.
I went through 4 boxes to find that poster, but I found it.
Yeah. I think I'd give you 2 points for that myself. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's obscure. That is obscure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ultra Mag.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Ak, I just want to let you know that I was also looking back. I did my second interview for the original rap station. The second interview that I did was with you, and it was February 20th, 2004.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were talking about the Balance album.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
that's dope.
And we got to shout out Ira, because Ira is the one that was like, you need to talk to Ak. So
cats in the game don't necessarily know Ira like that, but like he's definitely one of my best friends, and he's also my man Ira Kravitz, man. He's one of the first people that ever like let me record in a recording studio at their house. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. So like my first ever demo tape that ever got played on the radio, I recorded at his crib. You know what I'm saying? He produced it. I don't want to have that be lost. He was a student at BU at the time. He was killing it. Mm-hmm. He looked a little different back then. He had hair down to his shoulders and all of that.
Yep.
The hair is gone, but the fire is still there, man. That dude is a monster. He is a beast. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we just had to mention him because he connected us. So and
listen, and those types of connections is that's instrumental to the career of any artist, man. Because you know sometimes just somebody that knows somebody is what it will take to get you that interview that you really need, or that spot. Excuse me, my bad.
Timer's going off. Yes.
That placement, you know what I'm saying? Like that definitely makes a difference, man. Those connections, and Ira is a like lifelong. Like I said, I mean, I was 17 recording demos with him, man. You know what I'm saying? So like it's over 30 years of friendship and support. That's priceless. You know, and I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like you only get that from people who feel that you deserve it. You know, and so that's why it means so much to me that I don't ever F it up with him or any of my fans or any of my longtime supporters. You know what I'm saying? I want them to feel proud anytime they show somebody my work or bring my name up to them. You know, I want it to be associated with, yo, he bodied that verse, he killed that show, he kicked ass all semester long teaching that class. He was a nice person to me. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm trying to just make it so that that's all there's space to ever be said about me. You know,
Right.
because there's enough people out here that get a kick out of being toxic and trolling people and giving them a hard time and, you know, just being intimidating and all that stuff. Like, I'm not, I suppose if I wanted to intimidate people, I could. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what I'm about. So there's no reason for me to try to pretend that that's what I'm about. But I am about these bars. I'm about these rhymes. And when I'm on the mic, I definitely see it as like a physical exertion. So I see it like the same way like a running back sees getting the ball and running the ball. That's how I feel when I get the mic. You know what I'm saying? You want me off this mic, you're going to have to take me down or make me fumble until I'm done, until I get to the end zone. And that's when the last song's done. You know, that's my approach to that.
Yeah, that's dope. And you can tell from your music that, you know, you hear it in the music.
Word.
Yeah, the passion is there. From you go back to Balance to your most recent stuff. It just consistent. You have that consistency.
Thank you. Like I said, you know, it's crazy for Chuck to tell me he owes me one, but like that's how I feel though, just to hip hop. Like I'm grateful, man. Like, yo, I was literally, you know, just on death's doorstep, man. I'm gonna just say that, you know. And like, not only did my fans just show so much love, obviously, like, you know, my family, my girl, everybody was there for me, but like, my fans actually raised money to help me get through that summer after I had that. You know what I'm saying? Like they threw a benefit show for me and all the proceeds, you know what I'm saying? Like the promoter, my man Leeds, great guy, man, comes by.
Oh yeah, shout out to Leeds.
Leeds, man, absolutely, man. Ned's the man. And yo, I'll never forget that gesture, man, because I didn't know it was gonna go down like that. And to see just how many people came out and what they raised for me and why they did it. You know, they were like, my man D-Tension was on stage and performed one of my songs, you know what I'm saying, from beginning to end. Like it was just really moving, you know, and I was pretty much in a position where I couldn't move, seeing it all happen. You know what I mean? So I'm always gonna feel like, yeah, it's time to give back. Like, how could I possibly be an asshole to people? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? With all that, like sometimes I guess to be humble, you have to be humbled, you know, and although it wasn't like, oh, I'm getting like some karma for something bad that I did, at least I don't think. But it was still like, yo, sit down, slow down for a second. You know what I'm saying? Think about what's around you. Think about just how surrounded by love you are and just be more grateful for what's going on. You know what I mean? And that has helped me. I'm not perfect at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had moments in the last 48 hours where I'm like, all right, sit down and take 10 deep breaths. You know what I'm saying? But it's not easy. And so if it's not easy for someone who feels like they've accomplished everything they want to accomplish in life already, imagine how it can be for somebody who doesn't have that support and doesn't have that money, doesn't have the resources, doesn't necessarily have the skills yet or the talent yet. You know, those folks still find a way to get it done every day. You know, so those are the people that we do it for, man. That's who De La was doing it for sure.
Yeah. Most definitely.
You know, so I'm just trying to follow in those footsteps, man. Following the footsteps of KRS as a teacher, following the footsteps of somebody like LL Cool J as an entertainer, following the footsteps of someone like the great Chuck D as a voice of power and truth to power. You know, that's what I'm trying to do, and I really don't. I just don't see it no other way, man. For however long I'm here, that's what I'll be doing, and hopefully that's what I'll be remembered for, and hopefully even more. So more people will come up the ranks. You know what I'm saying? More people will come up the ranks that maybe learned from me or were inspired by me in some way or influenced by me in some way.
A noble gesture, sir. A noble gesture.
Word. I love it. But I mean, more than anything, I love the beats, rhymes, and life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
about the music. I'm always down. I love to talk, man. I love to have these types of conversations with folks like y'all, man. And I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk to people out there through this medium, and it's just dope. But I'm telling you, man, when it comes down to it, though, this whole conversation, I'm thinking, as I'm talking about people, I'm thinking about their music in the back of my head. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm talking about Shock G, and I'm thinking about, you know, man, there's some songs by Digital Underground that people don't know because the hits were so big that they don't know. They don't know about, you know, oh, what's that one? It's like Danger Zone. They got so many joints on the Sex Packets album. You know what I'm saying? People need to go and check that. But yeah, oh yes, and so and the same thing with you know, with PE and stuff like that. It's like a lot of people immediately think Fight the Power, but it's like, yo, go listen to Night of the Living Bassheads. That's the one that I make my students listen to. You know what I'm saying? So like every week we do a different unit. So like one week it might be this is the origin story, which is why we got to show the documentary. Or maybe it'd be like we're gonna do a unit on women in hip hop, and then this week we're gonna do a unit on sampling. So I teach them about like Clyde Stubblefield and all the beginnings of sampling, the early samplers that were used. Show them Marley Marl doing a live recreation of how he made the Mama Said Knock You Out beat. You know what I'm saying? And then they have a playlist to study. And one of the first songs on that playlist, it's number 2. The first song is Shake Your Rump, and the second song is Night of the Living Bassheads, because those 2 songs just have so much going on sample-wise to make just a beautiful symphony of a beat. You know what I mean? And just like the intermittent use of vocal samples and scratches and all that stuff. So I just, you know, I guess I'm a nerd for the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? that's really
great.
What it comes down to.
No, that's fantastic. Wait, so are we. So we love that.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
glad we found each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yo, man, Bassheads was the first. Because I living in Pittsburgh in the suburbs. Bassheads was the first PE joint I heard because I came a little bit late. Oh yeah. And it was, and I was just like, it stunned me. Yeah. Like I just stood there, like, what the hell? What is this?
That's the song that I used to perfect my Chuck D impersonation. Which ain't no way in hell y'all were gonna hear that while he was in the room.
Right.
I'll give you one word. I'll give you a one-word Chuck D impersonation. I bet you know what the word is. Brace.
Yeah.
But you see, yo, my vocal cords are a little messed up. It's more like brace. You know what I'm saying? Like that. There's brace. How low can you go? Death row. What a brother know. I love Chuck, man. Just one of the most important MCs to ever pick up the mic, man.
Ever to do it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so true. That is so true. Ack, we gotta have you back, man. We scratched the surface. And
anytime.
And
yeah, that's true, because we didn't really talk too much about the whole second half of you know, these last 25 years and stuff. But I understand it is, wow, we've been on for almost 2 hours already. Yep. But you know, I when you're in good company, time flies, man. You guys are great, and I really am happy that Chuck has such a great team of people that are passionate about what they do. You know, helping him get the word out, man, because it's obviously more work than any one person can do. But it's I'm in awe of what this dude is still out here doing at this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really is amazing to think that he's still finding new ways to be the most powerful voice in hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm always gonna honor that, man. And anytime you guys need me here, anytime you guys need me for anything, and just as Chuck said to me, you know what I'm saying? I owe y'all one, man. Like, whatever you need, just give a call. And as you see, man, my time is for you. I'm a supporter of everything that Rap Station is doing. And see, Doc, you know, we need to get together and make some joints still. I haven't forgotten about that. I'm still looking forward to doing that with you, brother. So let's stay in contact, okay? Please.
Yep. Yeah.
And Flatline, man, you know you're the man, brother. You know you're the man. Much love to you guys.
Hey, before you go, anything coming up you want to mention?
I also want to say thank you to Jenny. You know, just you guys are just awesome all around, but I didn't want to leave anybody out. But as far as what I have coming up, my February involves a speaking engagement at a Black Excellence festival that's happening up in Durham, New Hampshire at UNH. That's on the 25th of February. It's looking like I'm going to have a show in Vermont on the 24th, but it's not official, so I don't want to go shouting out the venue just yet. Okay. But really what I'm doing is working on songs You know what I'm saying? Like I have a whole album of material that was produced by my dear friend who I lost a few years ago, Peyton Locke.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know, yeah, we got like 7 or 8 jams, and they're pretty much just ready to go. I just have to time things right, so you know, with the school schedule. You
Yeah.
know, so my plan is to get everything ready to go so that when the summertime comes, I'm just ready to, you know, really hit the stage and do some shows. And in addition to the project with Peyton, I have another project that I haven't even talked about yet, but it's a group project collaboration with my man Heather Gray, who's a producer out of Salt Lake City, and a wonderful singer by the name of Maya Deagle, who's from France, from Paris, France. And we have a project called Compass Rose. You know, it's gonna be dope. I don't want to talk too much about it because
that's cool.
You know,
We
it's still in the early
understand.
stage. But yo, the features alone are gonna have people hyped up about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what's up.
But yeah, I mean, but all that being said, man, I just think that it can just be expected that I will continue to be active in one way or another, whether it's a full-length album or a single here or there or a song popping up in your favorite video game or in the movie you're watching, whatever. Like I'm working all those angles all the time, and you know, my music will continue to pop up not only where you expect it to, but where you least expect it to. And I'll end with another KRS quote. I have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite ones is, wherever all the dope shit go, that's where my shit go.
Yeah.
That's how you find me. Just go look for the dope shit. You're gonna see some of mines.
There you go.
No
That's
doubt,
what's up.
no doubt. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Akrobatik, thank you, sir.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and thanks to everybody that's watching and listening. I appreciate y'all, and everybody bless up and take good care of yourselves. All right.
Yeah, that's what's up.
All
Thank you,
right.
sir. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Peace
Much
out.
respect. Thank you so much. Peace.
All right, peace. Yeah. Great stuff.
I said last
Fantastic.
week it was going to be so good, and
Yep.
I wasn't
And it-
wrong. I wasn't
No.
wrong.
Not at all.
You're not wrong.
Not at all. That's why you get all the points.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the.
Yeah, that's you won. So,
6-3.
I didn't even throw this one up.
Oh
shit,
no,
yeah,
7.
see? Yeah.
Man, look at me go.
Ultra Mag, you got some work to do.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it locked in. But
Speaking
ain't
of
nobody
which-
got this. Oh,
Nah,
sorry.
I don't.
Oh no. Speaking of which, fallen soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should
Fallen
we do a
Soldiers
fallen
count.
soldiers check? 18,484.
Wow, we're like it's averaging like 1,000 a week, huh?
Yeah, it was 17. Well, let's see. Last week it was
17, right?
17. I think
We'll have to-
that we
we'll
had
have to go back
determined by the end of the week it was going to be 18.
Yeah, so we have to go back on. But no, it's cruising. Yes.
It's a good 600-700.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Cool stuff.
Yippers.
Do you want me to do another commercial for us?
Huh?
Do you want me to do another commercial for us?
I do.
Oh.
Please.
Available now.
Ooh.
Living Loud.
Oh,
By
Let's
Mr.
bring
Chuck
that up.
Lee.
Let's bring that up.
bitch.
Look at
You
that.
got that.
Yeah, mother.
Just arrived. I haven't even opened it yet.
Nice. Check
Yeah.
that out.
Available
Order that.
now.
I gotta go order one. I haven't done that yet.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
very excited to get into that after we end things off here.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we will be joined by we have a handful of guests coming through because we're
A
speaking
cornucopia.
thank you, Jen. A cornucopia of guests
Veritable
to talk
smorgasbord.
to talk about this Revenge of the DJ album. I do know right now we are scheduled to have DJ Ace, the Cut Lieutenant, DJ Too Tough, Kid Swift, Code Money, and M Rock. And not sure who else might come through. It might just be them. Maybe we have somebody else. I don't know. I'm working on it. We'll see.
You never know.
You never know. But we will be back next week talking about the Revenge of the DJ album. We're going to give it up to the DJ next week. And as we go out, I want to shout out Trugoy one more time.
Mhm.
Dave from De La Soul. And Chuck D sent me this video the other day when I heard about his passing, and so I just want to play this. So, but join us again. Thank you, Flatline. Thank you, Jennifer, and thanks everybody watching. Everybody in the comments, everybody watching on the replay. We will see you next week on It's C-Doc Again.
I'm here with the master, man.
A student.
No, stop it, man. When does a student stop being a student? When he becomes a master god himself?
Well, we trying to maintain and stay up in the stars, like the brother right here. So we staying up there.
It's like this is like hip hop heaven, and it's gonna come to close 2 days from now for us.
Yeah, man.
But we'll follow you wherever you're going, and I think maybe y'all doing the U.S. tour. I'll follow you and just plug in on one date, no pun intended, no
Absolutely.
big pun intended.
All right.
And then catch y'all.
Hey, man, I'm sure we'll cross paths.
We're always family.
Always. Peace.
This tour is full of islanders.
Yeah, that's right. Long Island is strong.
It's Staten Islanders.
Or for real.
Yeah. Hey, RZA,
For real.
I said this tour is full of islanders.
That's right, Long Island,
For real.
Staten Island, Manhattan Island.
Right.
New York is a motherfucking island.
Right,
bitch.
exactly. I'll move out of your way.
It's C-Doc again.